Welcome to Booked, Busy, and Building, the podcast for dreamers, doers, and everyday people making it happen. Whether you're building a business, a mindset, or a better version of yourself, this is your space to stay grounded, get inspired, and keep growing no matter how full your calendar gets. So if you're chasing your dreams and figuring it out as you go, this is your space to stay motivated and keep building. So tune in every week for new episodes. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Booked, Busy, and Building, the podcast about building the life that you actually want. Today we're talking all about how to get anything it is that you want in your life, and I'm not saying this title as clickbait or to be like, I know a magic secret that you guys don't know. I'm genuinely talking about how I believe it in my core, how we can get anything it is that we want in life, but you have to hear the part it is that nobody really wants to hear, but it is the harsh truth, which is there is so much work involved with it. There is so much sacrifice that it is going to take, and there is such a big commitment that is so real when it comes to getting out of your own way, because I feel like sometimes we are our own biggest roadblock to getting towards the life of our dreams. So if you're ready to stop watching other people live the life it is that you want, and to stop wishing it is that you were them, and you want to finally start building your own dream life, then let's get into it. As you know, at the beginning of every episode, we do our weekly Booked, Busy, and Building check-in, which are 3 things to ask yourself. Number 1, what opportunities are you stepping into this week, and how are you staying booked? So this week is actually an insane week for me. I am attending Social Media Week thanks to Adweek. I'm working with them, and they did give me a 3-day pass. I was also able to do a little giveaway on my TikTok, which was so exciting. It is a 3-day event that happens in New York. It's for all things social media, marketing, advertising, and more. There's also pop-ups with different brands that are there. You get to listen to a bunch of panelists that are going to be speaking from different companies like Reddit, Instagram, Slack, Gap, Warner Bros, LinkedIn, etc. And Emma Grade is also going to be there, who is one of my business icons, someone that I really look up to, who's a really big inspiration. And then this week, I also have Emma Grade's book tour, which my sister and I bought tickets for, so we're going to attend that. And then I have an iPad event with Apple. So it is quite a busy week, but I'm genuinely so grateful, and I'm just manifesting all good things and new opportunities to come from all of these things that are happening. Number 2 is what is taking up your time and energy right now, and what is keeping you busy. So something that's actually taking up my time and energy right now is working out, being my best self, and taking my health seriously. So I've been going to the gym for months now. I feel like I always talk about this in my different episodes, but my health and my wellness is something that I'm really starting to take seriously, or I'm starting to take it a lot more seriously, more than I typically would. Like, I was really stagnant with my health wellness journey for quite a while, but as of recently, I feel like I've really taken things up a notch. Like, I'm now taking creatine and pre-workout, which I feel like has been really helping me with my recovery and my muscles and my energy at the gym, plus just my energy throughout the day. And I've also been a lot more conscious about what I'm intaking on a regular basis, like sugar and all those kinds of things, because I feel like we don't realize just how much things we are putting into our body that are probably not the best. And when I really started to kind of like double down on, do I need all of this sugar in my coffee? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? Like, when I really looked into things a step further, I feel like that's when I really started to see the most changes, and it's been really, really positive. So I'm very happy about that. And you don't realize like just how good you can feel when you really take those things seriously. So that has been taking up my time and energy right now, and I'm really happy about that, because I've just been noticing such a difference in my energy and how I'm showing up every day. So I'm very grateful for that. And lastly, what are you intentionally working towards with your future self, and what are you building? So currently, I'm working towards trying to take care of my future self as much as possible in little ways. And I'm going to be making a TikTok about this later this week, but I previously mentioned the gym, which is obviously really important to me and my lifestyle, but I've also really taken my financial journey a step further. I have set up an automatic deposit now every Friday where money is coming out of my bank account and it is going straight into my Roth IRA, which is a individual retirement account. I have one with Fidelity, so now every Friday I have that certain amount taken out. It goes right into my Fidelity account, and then all I have to do is just pick out what stock I want that money to go into. This is money that you do not touch for years until you are able to take it out, which I believe is 60 or 65. I've also been very consistent with my high yield savings account, which is through Marcus by Goldman Sachs. And I'm just like so happy that I've been very consistent, because I've neglected those accounts for quite a while, because I feel like so much of my time and energy and money had to go towards my student loans, which is still a very, very big thing that I'm focusing on. But I also feel like at the same time, I should not neglect my high yield and my Roth IRA, because those are just as important. But we are back. We are on a financial journey. We are on a health and wellness journey, and so many things are looking up. So I'm just very grateful for all of these things. And you guys can also go ahead and answer these yourself. Again, this is a weekly thing that we are doing at the beginning of every episode. So without further ado, let's just get started. Tip number 1 is stop waiting and start doing. So I made this the first tip because this is just the wake up call that you need to hear. You do not need to have your entire life figured out. You do not need to have everything planned out. I used to be the biggest planner, and I was like, this is how my life is going to go. I'm going to do this, that. And the life that I had planned for myself before I entered college is not the life that I am living right now. And I think that is a beautiful thing, because so many things can happen along the way, and so many different routes and paths can be taken, but it's about how you deal with what is coming into your life. So for example, I thought that after college, I was going to be working in the fashion industry, and I did not think that social media or starting my own business was going to be part of kind of like a side plot that now ended up being my full-time thing. So many things have happened over the years that it's like, when you are given these things, how are you going to handle that? How are you going to either take advantage or say no to things or say yes to things? It's not about like having it all figured out or having this really well thought out life plan. Just take the first step towards whatever it is that you want. But the most important thing is that you have to start. Do research, read books, learn about what it is that you don't know. Information is so powerful. And the best part, and I will always say this, is how accessible things are now compared to how things were years ago. Like, I used to genuinely scour the internet for all kinds of things that I wanted to learn about. And now you can find everything either on TikTok or YouTube University. So many people make that joke. They're like, I went to YouTube University, because everything is out there. When I was filing my LLC for my business, I watched so many TikToks. I read so many articles. I watched a million YouTube videos, and I ended up filing my own LLC correctly, to the point where when I did my taxes with my CPA, she was like, people pay me to help them do an LLC, and like, you did it all on your own and you did it correctly. Like, everything is on the internet. You just have to actually do the work and take that first step. Like I said, I didn't know anything about an LLC or a business. I just knew that I wanted to take that next step for my social media and my business in general. And that's exactly what I did. So take action even when you are not ready. Readiness is a feeling that is never going to fully arrive. You're never going to be ready. I'm going to continue to beat that into the ground, because you guys need to just hear that. Like, every person it is that we look up to, or that we follow, or that we see as inspiration. Like, for me, Emma Grede is my biggest business icon. She was not handed anything in life. She literally started where she was, and then she just took her way up and took all these different paths, learned from that, and then used that experience to take her into the next thing. And that's exactly what I've been doing. Like, one thing led me into the other, and then I learned from that and I go to the next thing. So it's like, you can do the same thing, but it is genuinely about just stopping this whole waiting period and just going after what it is that you want. Because the life you want, it is not going to come and knock on your front door. You're not going to be handed a golden ticket. No one is going to say, take my hand, let's go out and do this. You genuinely just have to go out there in the world and do it. And we don't know how many years it's going to take. We don't know when that moment will arrive, or when all of our wishes and our dreams will come true. But you're never going to know if it can come true if you don't just take that first step and take that leap of faith. Tip number 2 is make sacrifices that align with your goals. This is another 5-star tip that I feel like needs to be mentioned, and again, needs to be beaten into the ground, because that weekend that we spend either rotting on the couch, or those hours where we're in bed and we're scrolling on TikTok and we're like, I don't really want to pick up the book, or I don't want to go to sleep early, I just want to scroll, whatever it is. Like, those moments where you feel like I don't really want to do anything right now are the moments that could actually change everything. And I see so many TikToks that are like, just do the thing that has been on your to-do list for the longest time, because I promise once you finally do it, you're going to be like, wow, this was a weight on my shoulders for the longest time, and I finally did it, and now I'm like, that was it. That was literally all that I had to do, whether it's the laundry pile that is on your bed or sending the email or something it is that you have to do, even the appointment you have to book, like whatever it is, you need to just go out there and do the thing. And sometimes you're going to have to be in uncomfortable situations. You're going to have to do sacrifices, but it's like that is what you have to do to get to where it is that you want to be. There are so many things that I never thought that I was going to do, or there's opportunities that I've been given that I was afraid to say yes, or I didn't know how it was going to be. I just did it anyway. And then once I did it, that gave me the power and the motivation to do something even better and even more after that. Like, for example, getting asked to speak on my first panel while I was in college, and it was about social media. I was not a huge person on social media, but I was like, you know what, if they're asking me to do this, then I must be like influential in some kind of way. And doing that led me to even more speaking opportunities, even more panels. Just last month, I was invited to go speak at the Women in Business Club at Rutgers University, which is literally the college that my boyfriend attended and graduated from. So it's like that was such a full circle moment because I went there for his graduation. And little did I know that 2 years later, I would be invited to go and speak at a business panel for a business club. So it's just so cool how life kind of just turns around for you, but you have to make certain sacrifices down the road to get you to achieve those certain goals. Even if it's not something that you maybe even had initially planned for your life, but it ends up coming anyway. It's like, are you going to say yes? Are you going to say no? How are you going to handle these things when they come into your life? That also means saying no to things that are not going to move you forward and saying yes to the things that scare you. There's going to be weekends where maybe you have a ton to get done, and then certain people or friends are like, let's go out, let's do this, let's do that. It's okay to say no. And I tell my sister this all the time because I feel like we have friends and our friend group that are always like, let's do this, let's do that. And sometimes maybe we don't want to do that, and that's perfectly fine. So learn when it's okay to say no, because sacrifices are not supposed to be punishments. It's not supposed to give you FOMO and be like, I wish I went out or I wish I did this. Like, it's literally an investment that you are making into your future self. There have been so many times where I've went out or I've done things where I'm like, I wish I would have stayed home, or I wish I would have said no to this. And I learned from those moments and those experiences, and I'm like, I'm going to say no next time this comes back into my life. For example, influencer events in New York are a really big part of that. I used to say yes to every single event, and in the end I realized this is not really an investment towards my future. Sometimes just because I'm getting invited to something doesn't mean I have to say yes to every single thing. And over the years, I've definitely started to put my foot down with that. And it's more for myself because sometimes I'm like, is it worth the money that I'm going to spend to travel into New York just to go to an event, stand around, get a free gift bag, and either no one's really going to talk to me or it's not really worth my time, versus an event that I can genuinely see something coming from that and I feel like it's worth my time. And I'm like, this is worth spending the money for transportation to go into New York, etc. Like, learn what is worth the sacrifice and learn what isn't. And also, you can ask yourself this on a daily. What am I doing right now? And is this thing getting me closer or further from where it is that I want to be? Like, for example, last week, I went to the gym 5 days a week. I did not want to go by the time it hit Thursday. I was like, I cannot do this. But I told myself, like, am I going to regret this in a few hours? Am I going to wish that I just got up and did it even though I was tired? And I'm so glad that I did, because at the end of the week, when I hit my 5 days, I was so proud, and I'm like, girl, like, you did it. And that is giving me the motivation now this week to also try to go all 5 days, even though I have a very busy week ahead. I'm just like, that gave me the motivation and the kick and the fire under me to be like, you did it one time, now let's keep going and let's keep doing it. Tip number 3 is do the inner work, because it is a non-negotiable. Self-sabotage and negative mindsets and all these different things, that can sometimes be the biggest obstacle and the biggest roadblock from getting us to where it is that we want to be. I have seen this firsthand with myself, where I have put myself down so many times, and it's not even like I do it on purpose. I feel like this is just something that I used to do a lot growing up, because I was like, maybe I don't deserve this, or maybe this just isn't going to happen to me, etc. Like, I always had really negative mindsets about certain things. And when I got older, I started to realize, like, instead of imagining the worst case scenario, why can't I start imagining the best case scenario? Why can't I start picturing what could be something really good that could come today? Waking up with the mindset of amazing things are going to happen to me today. Something incredible is going to happen today. Like, go out in the world with that mindset and let go of that victim mentality. Let go of this self-sabotage that so many of us carry. And that really goes and pours into so many different areas of your life. If you are negative, if you are constantly doing this self-sabotage victim mentality, it is genuinely going to start to seep into so many areas of your life. Maybe you're not making as much money as you want. Maybe you're not in the career it is that you want. Maybe you want this kind of relationship. Maybe you want this kind of friendship, etc. Like, whatever it is that you are pursuing and working towards, maybe those things are not aligning and not happening because of your mindset. So something I would recommend that I think can be really helpful when it comes to overcoming these limiting beliefs or these negative mindsets is figuring out, what are your limiting beliefs? What are the things that you feel like, when it comes to this, I always have this kind of mindset? Like, for example, with me, when it came to social media or making money and working with certain kinds of brands, I always looked at other content creators and I thought, this person can accomplish this. And it's almost like, maybe there's no room for me. Maybe I also can't do this, or this person accomplished this. What if I can't do this next? That was a limiting belief that I realized I have to turn this around. And I started looking at it with, I am going to start looking at other people that I follow online or that are accomplishing things it is that I want to do. And I'm going to look at it as, if they can do it, so can I. And so I started turning around that mindset. And again, instead of looking at it from a jealous point of view or a jealous perspective, I now look at those posts and I'm like, oh my God, this person did this. This is opening up now another door for maybe I can actually have this happen to me down the road. And using that switch really let me look at things as like, there is room for everybody, and you should also look at it in that way as well. Identify what are your limiting beliefs. Maybe journal it out, write it down in your notes app, or even just open up your phone camera and start talking to yourself like that. Like, I have a video diary thing that I do for myself where I take videos and I just talk to my camera. I save it onto a hard drive, and I'm like, in a few years, I'm definitely going to be able to look back at these and be like, wow, little did I know something was just around the corner. Or I can just rewatch those things and be like, my life has changed and I didn't even know it. So find ways to identify that stuff, because you are only going to go as far as you allow yourself to. The work still needs to be done. You still have to show up every day and make sacrifices and obviously put the work in. But at the same time, try to figure out, is there something stopping you from getting and reaching to your full potential? Before we get into the next tip, I want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, and that is Valdez Agency. If you're new here, Valdez Agency is the media company that I founded to help ambitious creators, students, and young professionals actually get access to opportunities and real conversations about building something meaningful and going after your dream life. If you're a creator and you want brand deals, education, and a community that wants to see you win, then Valdez Agency is the place for you, and it is absolutely free to sign up and join. To apply and be in our creator community, all you have to do is visit thevaldezagency.com. You can also rate our podcast, Booked, Busy, and Building, after you're done listening, or even right now, if you enjoy the episodes either on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Booked, Busy, and Building Podcast, which posts the full episodes. Make sure you're also signed up for our weekly newsletter, Spill the Success, which has all kinds of resources and new drops towards mindset, career, creator economy, business, and more. And lastly, follow Valdez Agency on Instagram so you never miss anything that is going on, including our book club that is hosted virtually on Fable, where we read books monthly on self-development, mindset, and more, plus our newly launched broadcast channel, which is solely on our Instagram. Reminder again that all of this is free and everything is linked in the show notes, because trust me, we are building something big with Valdez Agency and we would love for you to be a part of it. So let's get back into the episode. Last but not least, tip number 4 is kill the victim mentality for good. I used to be friends with people that were such victim mentality with everything that came into their life, whether it was finding relationships or things that happened in their life, or maybe their job's not working out for them. Whatever it was, when I was around these people, it was very soul sucking almost, because that energy could really travel and come to you. And then before you know it, you're thinking the same way as these people. And that is not the kind of energy it is that you want to be around. Always having that mindset of these things always happen to me, or these kinds of things only happen to someone like me, etc., or this would only happen to me. Like, I feel like we all know those kind of people that talk like that, or maybe that even happens to us where we talk like that about ourselves. That is one of the most dangerous things that you can tell yourself, because I feel like, again, mindset is everything. And there are so many people that have come from probably even crazier situations and have built really extraordinary outcomes and lives for themselves. A lot of people that probably you even look up to, whether it's an athlete or an actress or a business owner, so many of them have overcome so many roadblocks and so many things that a lot of us probably don't even know the stories of the people it is that we look up to. We just see them on TV or on our phones and we're like, wow, I want their life. But little do we know, there is so much that happens in the back end and that has happened years before that they had to overcome and go through in order to be the person it is that they are today. So your situation or your life or your environment and where you are right now, that is not your forever. And just because something is a no right now does not mean it's going to be no later or no later down the road. There's been opportunities that I've wanted so bad and it didn't happen in that moment, but years later it comes back to me 10 times better and I'm ready for that. The moment that you stop blaming your circumstances and your environment and the people around you and all these different things, and you genuinely just start taking ownership in, I just need to put one foot in front of the other and just keep moving forward, that is when everything really starts to shift, because again, you're getting out of that victim mentality and out of that negative mindset, and you're genuinely just moving forward, persevering, and you're just doing your thing. That is one of the biggest pieces of advice that I will always give. And just be scrappy with what it is that you're doing. Like, don't be afraid to go out and do the thing it is that you want, even if it looks a little bit different than how other people are doing it. When I first wanted to start on YouTube, I didn't have a fancy camera. I filmed everything on my phone. And then over the years, I saved up and I eventually found a camera and a really good deal that I was like, okay, I have to buy this. Same thing with my podcast. I don't have the most fancy podcast mic. I literally film everything on the same camera that I bought years ago. I edit everything on iMovie and on Voice Memo, but I'm not going to let those circumstances stop me. I'm still going to go out there and post a podcast episode every week. I'm still going to show up and put the work in, even if I don't have the latest iPhone or if I don't have the fanciest MacBook. The one that I've been using since my college days is literally the one that I use right now. Like, I am not going to let my circumstances define me. I'm still going to go out and do something because I'm working with what I have. So remember, like, things are not working against you. Sometimes the world is just waiting for you to actually show up, but you have to at least meet it halfway. If you are always trying to think yourself out of a situation, you are never going to get to where it is that you want to be. There are so many people that are thinkers and they're not doers. And it's like, you genuinely need to actually go out and do the thing and take action, because you cannot live in your head for your entire life. Like, you actually have to go out and see what your potential could be, see what you could get out of this world. But it requires getting out of your shell, being a little bit uncomfortable, doing things a little bit outside the box, being a little bit different and unique. Like, at the end of the day, everything that you want is on the other side of hard work and sacrifice and showing up. You just haven't done some of those things yet. And if you have, keep going. That does not mean that it's never going to happen. But again, like, things are not happening on our timeline. We don't know when this stuff is going to happen. We just have to keep going, and one day it will happen. You're not behind. You're not late. And things can happen for you. Things can happen to you. Good things are in this world that can happen. Have that grit, have that intention, and go out there and get your dream life, because I promise you, you can do it. You can get it. You just need to show up. So finish off this episode with the positivity and the confidence that you need to start doing something right now that your future self will thank you for. So finish off this episode. Go do something that, again, your future you is going to be proud of. And I will see you guys in next week's episode. Thanks for tuning in to Booked, Busy, and Building, where we keep it real, stay growing, and are always showing up for ourselves. Remember that you're not behind, you're in the middle of becoming, so keep building what matters, and the life you want is already yours. And until next time, stay booked, stay busy, and keep building.